Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings upon each and every one who hears and sees this video. My name is Bomer. I'm the author of the book Consider Islam Disproving the Patriots of Propaganda. You can find out more about the book at www.kennybomer.com. And I thank you for tuning in to this video in the series called Reasons to Revert. And we have Sister Becky with us today. Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you today?
I'm doing quite well, alhamdulillah. Thank you for participating in this. As we discussed before, it's all for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to address issues that we had in our minds before we reverted. I've been a Muslim for over 30 years personally. How long have you been Muslim?
Just over a year.
Just over a year, alhamdulillah. Okay, so let me ask you, before Islam, what was your religion before Islam, if you had any religion?
Didn't really have one per se. I was brought up in the Lutheran church. Never felt like I belonged there, so I was always searching for what I was looking for.
Okay. And while you were at the Lutheran church, did you have questions in your mind about the doctrine that they used or things that they spoke about? Were there things that didn't seem to add up to you, or what was your thinking there?
I think that my whole issue with the church was that they were telling us that we were supposed to worship God, but yet they were praying to Jesus, and that just never seemed quite right to me.
Right. Yeah. So, okay. So were they more of a Unitarian? I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what Lutherans believe. Were they more of a Unitarian, where they were trying to say that Jesus in the flesh, and not so much his son, or were they Trinitarian or Binitarian? What are Lutheran?
I believe they're Trinitarian. I believe they believe in the Trinity. I haven't been in so long.
Yeah, sure.
I know they do communion, and they do baptism normally at early age, and then a confirmation in like your teen years.
Yeah. So primarily they were saying they worship God, but they're praying to Jesus. Peace and blessings.
Correct.
Okay. So at that point, did you have any knowledge about Islam at all?
No.
Okay. And at what point did you first hear about Islam?
It was probably made most visual to me, maybe, I guess, probably around 9/11, and I just kind of was like, this is horrible what happened, and of course everybody thought it was horrible what happened.
Sure.
But I just didn't think that some of the things that were going on afterwards towards the Muslim people were right. I just didn't feel like one or two people can represent a whole group. And I still didn't really know much, and I really don't know that I really was conscious of knowing any Muslim people at that point. But I never did really truly believe that, all Muslim people are bad, because
Sure.
no one group are all bad. So how could that be?
Right. And so what did it pique a curiosity in you? That events of 9/11, did it cause you to have this curiosity about Islam, trying to find out what it was about, or what brought about your interest in Islam, and how did that come about?
Well, I actually had made a friend who is a very dear friend, and will always be a very dear friend to me, and didn't know when I met him that he was Muslim. And once I found out, then I started kind of, looking into it more, just to kind of connect with my friend, kind of know more what they were, what their life was about. And I had another friend who I had started speaking with, who is a friend of yours. And he actually had, one day I was just troubled, and he knew it. And he suggested that I read Quran. And that's when it kind of started.
Oh.
So that was probably probably about 3 years ago.
Oh, that's great, alhamdulillah. So initially you just had friends that they just happened to be Muslim, and just talking to them and asking them questions, stuff like that. And then he suggested the Quran. Did he actually give you a Quran, or did you go and look for one and purchase one? How did that come about?
I actually just pulled up an app online
Awesome.
and would listen to it in English, of course, so I could understand it. I have also listened to it in like several sections in Arabic, and it's so beautiful to listen to all the time. But I have read completely through, but I didn't actually buy my first Quran until after I had said my Shahada, and then I went and I bought it for myself, and I was very happy. You know, once I started reading, I couldn't put it down.
That's beautiful. Alhamdulillah. So let me ask you, how long after you started reading it did you accept Islam, or when did you take Shahada or do Shahada?
I would say probably it was, my timelines are so bad, but probably it was at least a year or more before I made my decision, and it was just, I had just,
so you did a lot
I was engaged, and I wanted to learn more about, you know, what my future husband was, you know, all about, and I just, the peace and I one day, just an overwhelming feeling of peace and happiness, and I knew right then that I knew what I needed to do.
Alhamdulillah, that is beautiful. That's, I certainly understand your feelings about that. So let me ask you, your family and your friends, you know, how did they react to you becoming Muslim?
Different people reacted different ways. I had some people that did not react so well. My family doesn't really talk about it. They just kind of leave me to be who I am. I'm not sure, you know, what their real thoughts are, but I know that I'm a lot happier, and if they see that, then they should be a lot happier as well. My feeling.
I noticed, you know, that you know, we initially came in contact with one another online, and was from day one I've been seeing you wear the hijab. So how do they react to the hijab, and what is your experience with people just out and about? First and foremost, your family. How do they react to wearing the hijab, and also your experience with people just out and about in the community? Do you sense any difference in how you're looked at or treated in any way? How does that work out for you?
As far as my family, again, they really don't talk about it. Don't really know for sure what their real views on it are. I'm not sure. Hopefully they're just happy that I'm happy. I would love for them to want to learn more, but they never ask, and they don't ever want to seem to talk about it. As far as my friends, most of my friends have been very receptive. I have found that some of the most tolerant people, the people who are tolerant of everything else in the world, aren't real happy with my decision. And that's kind of sad, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm happy. It's my life, so
and what
I feel about it.
What about strangers in the community, or just people that you come across? Do you find them looking at you differently now that you wear the hijab versus when you didn't? How do they react?
Well, I kind of went from one extreme to the other. I live here in Florida. It's hot. Weather's hot. You know, most people here were in shorts and tank top. You know, running around trying to keep cool, and so, you know, I got plenty of looks doing that, and I get plenty of looks now that I'm not. And I've had a lot of people ask me, "Aren't you hot?" And I'm like, no. You know, I really, honestly, I could be running around in a bikini and I would be just as hot as I am covered up. And I feel more secure about myself and about, you know, the image that I'm portraying
Sure.
when I'm not running around, half dressed.
Yeah, that's I love hearing that. That's beautiful. So tell me about the prayer. Of course, before Islam, before the obligation of the five prayers, which I don't like using the word obligation. I see the prayers as opportunity. Alhamdulillah. So
Correct.
of course, we know as Muslims we are obligated to go to the prayer. It's it's one of the five pillars of Islam. It's the main pillar of Islam, other than declaring the oneness of Allah and that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his final messenger. But the prayer is crucial. If you don't have the prayer, you don't have Islam. And so, how has your life changed in regards to before you were observing the prayer, before Islam, as compared to after, now that you're a Muslim?
Oh, I'm definitely more conscious of making sure that I pray as much as I can possibly do it. I can't say that I'm perfect because I'm not. Life gets hectic, and sometimes, it's late.
Yeah.
Sometimes, life gets in the way, but the more I go along, the more I try to consciously be where I need to be, when I need to be, and
Right.
it's not easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy. It's definitely not as easy as showing up to church one Sunday morning, on Sunday morning once a week, that.
Right. And so
That was hard. I thought that was hard when I was a child and I had to go, oh man, I've got to get up on a Sunday morning, but
now you're required to get up.
the rewards are so worth it now. The rewards are so worth it.
And do you feel that the prayer is more meaningful and that it helps you get through your day easier? I mean, that's how I feel. If I wasn't praying, I feel like my life would be more difficult. But because I stop and we go to prayer, repeat it through the day, we're able to ask for forgiveness for anything that we've done wrong, and be thankful for every blessing that we have, and ask Allah to condition us for whatever test and trial that we may face. It gives me peace. So how do you feel about that?
Oh, definitely. It definitely gives me a lot of peace knowing that anytime that I am troubled, that I can turn to Allah and ask for help and ask for forgiveness, and whether I get a response right away or not, He's always listening, always.
Yeah, right.
Always knows what's in my heart and always knows, just what I need. So I get through the hard times because I know that the hard times are just a test to see what I'm made of, and I try to do my best to get through.
Right.
And alhamdulillah, it has been a lot easier than before. I know that when we first met, I had a lot of anxiety. I was in a relationship that was not right for me, and I was very stressed out. And if it had not been for prayer and being able to, just let my emotions out that way, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I would have done. I don't know how much worse it could have been if I had not had prayer, if I had not had, my faith to fall back on.
Right. Alhamdulillah. You had mentioned having prayers answered immediately. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, right? And Allah tells us.
No, it sure doesn't.
And Allah tells us in the Quran repeatedly He says, "O you who believe, seek help through patience and prayer. O you who believe, seek help through patience and prayer." Repeatedly, over and over again, Allah's telling us in the Quran, every time He's mentioning prayer, and vice versa, He's mentioning patience and prayer together. And so those are a requirement, because a lot of times we want a quick answer, but part of the reconditioning in ourselves is being patient. We're not always going to see a solution come immediately, but by the will and the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's going to guide us to what's best for us. He tells us in the Quran, perhaps you love a thing which is bad for you, you hate a thing which is good for you. Allah knows why you do not know. So sometimes the things that we ask for are not really the best things for us, right? And so we have to let the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our patience with His strength guide us to where we're supposed to go. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the affairs of the believer are beautiful, because if something bad happens, we turn to Allah, and if something good happens, we turn to Allah and we're thankful, right? So
Right.
no matter what happens, we just got to be patient and let the wisdom of Allah guide us. And so before we end the conversation, I have to ask you something that's very important, and I want you to tell me a little bit about Teddy.
Oh, Betty.
Tell
my
me
miracle car. He just hit 474,000 miles.
What? Say it again. How many?
474,000 miles.
Well, obviously you're taking good care of Teddy.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
No, he
has been beaten pretty hard. He started as a pizza delivery car with his original owner, who drove him from, well, I don't know if he drove him from Alaska, but he bought him in Alaska. I met him in North Carolina, and after he traded the car in, I bought it from a used car lot with 196,000 miles on it. And the motor will not quit.
That's
He's
great.
been underwater. He's been on fire.
Well, that's a blessing from Allah.
Absolutely.
In Islam, we're supposed to be modest. You don't have to drive around in a Mercedes Benz, right?
Exactly.
We're going and be thankful to Allah for how we get there. So.
Oh, and I do love my little car. I'll tell you what, that little car has gotten me through a lot of times.
Yeah,
when I didn't think I had a reason to go on. I looked at my car and thought, my gosh, my car's still going. I think I can keep going.
Better keep going too. That's right. I've seen you make many posts. Of course, whenever you see another, what kind of car is it?
Subaru
So
Impreza.
So obviously, whenever you see another Subaru, you're making the claim that Teddy and the other Subaru are flirting with one another, right?
Absolutely, they are.
I think it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. You made me laugh many times online, seeing just a little picture or whatever that he posted. It's pretty funny, so I had to ask you about that. But
good. I'm glad that everybody enjoys it so much. I get so many good comments. He's pretty famous around the world, so
it's really wonderful. I like that. You should keep doing it. It puts a smile on people's face. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to share your smile, and of course make other people smile. It's a form of charity. So yeah,
absolutely.
Keep making people smile with that. That's beautiful. And I really want to thank you for participating in this. I know sometimes it's not everyone wants to come on and tell their story and be open about it, but it's a great blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a means for us to share the truth and the beauty of Islam, and it's something that we should take very, very seriously, because we are obligated as Muslims to share the truth and beauty of Islam in each and everything that we engage in throughout our lives. That means each and every day. So we're not going to be perfect, but we have been given a gift that is perfect, and that gift is Islam. Everything is a test, and Islam most certainly is the answer for it. So I want to thank you once again, and I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you for your intentions behind participating in this. I thank you very, very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Have a wonderful night.